Probably Professionals, a podcast brought to you by kindofcoaches.com. My name is Blake. I'm joined today by our head coach and founder, Taylor Heath.
What's up, guys?
And our director of communications, Mr. Bryan Baker. What's up?
Nothing much, man.
What's poppin'?
Dude, we nailed it that time. Trey,
Yeah, that was a good one.
Trey Hendricks, what's up, buddy? I see you.
Hey.
So for anyone that's been watching, we've been that was take two. Audio listeners, you missed out on that one, man. Anyway, so this is our fourth episode where we're getting a little better, I hope, at doing all this. We're trying to get a little bit more professional with our presentation and all that. So you can tell we got like our 3 video boxes on the live stream. We got our logo up there. We got a follower alert.
Yeah, if anybody wants to test that follow alert real quick, it would be super cool. But
we got all that going for us, and I'm not reading off an outline this week. I know where the podcast is supposed to go, so I'm just going to try to steer this boat and not crash us into the rocks.
Yep.
So that all being said, today we are going to talk about entertainment. We're going to talk about the entertainment business. We're going to talk about being like a performer and trying to get gigs and what we like and don't like about that whole process. And then we're going to swing it around as usual to talking about ourselves and our company and talking about the entertainment value that we want to bring to our customers.
And
so
to you guys.
Yeah, and that all started with having to watch us do 2 takes of a podcast. But, whatever.
It's totally on brand, though, because our podcast is called Probably Professionals. So,
and we are kind of coaches.
And that's the best thing I love about this brand that we have is that we can literally do anything half-baked and it be on brand because we let everybody know in full force that we don't know what we're doing. So, how's
100%.
everybody doing tonight? If you are in Twitch chat, we'd love to hear from you. I think we decided last week that we're just going to go ahead and make it a full live stream and record the audio. So we're going to be interacting with Twitch chat. We'd love to hear from you.
For any audio listeners who don't know, we live stream our podcast recordings. Normally, they are Monday nights at 7. We all had a bunch of stuff going on today, so we had to make some changes and switch some things around. And it is just now 10 o'clock, and we're getting started. But hey, that's okay.
I really appreciate you not throwing me under the bus there because it was absolutely my fault. But
no, it was we all had a lot. I didn't get home till late anyway.
Right on. Well,
before we get to the topic, has anybody done anything cool in the last week? I'll tell you, I have been working on a desk for myself. Like if you're watching the video, you can see I'm just in my guest bedroom at my house right now. You can see my Mufasa pillow in the background. I'm working on a new desk, man. I'm trying to get some cool things going. If you follow me on Instagram, you can catch up on the progress. And when I finish that up, I'll be changing the setup around, trying to make things look a little cooler in here.
Oh, we went over the table last week, didn't you? Didn't we? That
yeah, I talked about
ended up being a bench.
Yeah, I was trying to build a coffee table.
I just want to bring that up for everybody. Blake started out making a coffee table, and it ended up being a stool.
It's a bench. It's not a stool. It's a bench.
It is a little more than a stool.
That's all right. It's just a place for the cat to sit.
It's kind of a place to sit. So
it's kind of a table, I guess.
Brian, what about you guys, man? Anybody done anything cool?
Brian, you go ahead and tell everybody what you've been up to this week.
Well, I played 3 nights of music back to back to back. Tuscaloosa, Alabama, 2 nights in a row, and I was in Tin Roof in Birmingham Saturday. It's a good time, man. It's just I don't know. I'm much too young to feel this dang old, man. Just running wild, but having a good time, playing music, entertaining folks, doing my thing. Really, it's a good time, man.
If you guys don't know, Brian, he's our, I guess, entertainment coach. Is that what you are, Brian?
I kind of. I kind of do social media, and then I kind of talk about entertainment and a little bit of branding on the side.
So yeah, Brian is he's our director of communications. He heads up our social media, and he also does basically anything that you guys hear or see from us. He has his eyes on it, and he puts his his 2 cents in. So he does a lot for kind of coaches, and hopefully he's able to be on regularly. He's usually has some kind of good excuse to not be on the podcast, but we don't hold that against him.
I'm out here, bro.
So you've been playing this week. That's about it. You've been running our social media too.
I have, man. As long as we keep the content train on track and everything rolling the way it has been, keep turning this content out, providing good blogs for everybody to read. I feel like that's going to be our core source of entertainment, along with these podcasts and Twitch streams and all this. But man, it is what it is. As long as we keep blogging like we do.
Well, cool.
That's the goal.
So this week I have been up to basically just running this company, making sure all of our stuff looks better than it has. I've gotten a couple comments about some of the stuff that we have out there. It's just kind of like looks thrown together, and my argument to that would be is that we're only kind of coaches. We're not actual coaches. So if it looks thrown together, it's because it is thrown together, and I'm currently working to unthrow it together. So we decided to release all of this content with the full intention of showing growth, and we can't really show growth if we release all of our content and it looks pristine. So that's the excuse that I'm going with. And by the way, in Twitch chat right now, let's see, Derek, what's up, buddy? I should have recognized that username. I should have recognized it was you by your stupid username.
I figured I'd throw my 2 cents in on showing the growth and things not looking 100% polished. Like, just if you're someone that wants to produce content, because like I'm running into this issue with myself. Like I'm trying to put out Instagram content and eventually YouTube content about making things and building stuff and doing woodwork and home renovation and all that. If I waited until I had all the perfect equipment and graphics and branding and I practiced and got to the pinnacle of video editing and all that stuff, I would never put out a single piece of content.
And that's
like I've already accepted the fact that the first YouTube video I make is going to be awful. Yeah. But it's going to be a video, and I'm going to get better as I do it.
That is something to be said about people that want to start making content, is to just go out there and make some content. Like you said, if you sit there and try to, even if you're like not even talking about content creation, if you're just talking about getting your name out there and building a company that's like heavy social media and heavy content related, like we're doing, like if you try to wait until everything is pristine and perfect, then you will never do anything, because I try to wait as late as possible, and it just got to the point where we just had to launch the dang thing, man.
Sometimes you just gotta step back and throw that thing, man.
That's exactly what we did when we launched it too.
I tell you,
it's like we hit a button and it was like, well, we got a company now. So
launched 222 at 222 and at 221 on 221 at 222. He's like, yeah, dude, I meant tomorrow. We're gonna launch tomorrow.
Yeah. Also at 223 we almost folded. I'm just kidding, we did almost fold.
And then the wheels fell off.
So so also this week we did our first boardroom last night, and it was a major success. Blake, why don't you tell them a little bit about what the boardroom is and where they can find that, and just all about it.
So the boardroom was an idea that I actually had sort of this idea a long time ago. Yeah, kind of this idea a long time ago. But basically, like, we have to talk about business stuff with each other a lot, especially Taylor and I. There's just always constant text and phone calls and everything about like, hey, we should do this. What if we did this? We should do it this way. And we also both really enjoy playing video games. And when you start your own business and you're full-time employees already, and you're trying to do things and live your life, and you have a bunch of commitments, time for playing video games pretty much shrinks down to nothing at all. So last night we decided to just log on, and the Division 2 beta was open for anyone who's a gamer out there. and we decided we wanted to play some Division 2. Neither of us had played it up until then. We waited till like the last 3 hours of the beta, but whatever. And we got on and we talked a little bit about the work we were supposed to talk about, but mostly we ended up just playing games.
Yeah, we ended up just playing a lot of video games and not talking business whatsoever, which is cool. It ended up being fun because me and Blake actually, thanks to Brian, we actually had a lot of time pre-show to like put all of this these graphics together for the stream that you're seeing now. So one guy actually came in right at probably with 30 minutes left in the stream and jumped in to play the Division with us, and he was like the nicest guy ever, man. Shout out to that guy. He was super kind, really just a really good guy to just sit there and play some video games with. So we hope to see him again. Brian, what'd you do last night?
I went and caught up with a good friend of mine, Jacob Brock, who plays around. He's originally from Florence. Started out playing music in Florence. I know you guys are familiar with him. He played at Tin Roof in Birmingham last night, and I had to make a trip to Birmingham and went and got some cheeseburgers at Jack Brown's and went and supported another person that come up in the same circuit with me, and it's good to see him get to Birmingham and reach out to new people, put his music on new ears. So had to go show some love, man. Just did my thing.
Yeah, man. That's awesome.
Barry Birmingham in the house.
Derek says that he has 1,500 hours in Division 1. He's going to crush Division 2. Derek, we have, me and Blake and Brian probably have at least 5,000 hours put together for Destiny. So between the three of us, we at least have 5,000 hours between. So yeah, let me know if you've played the Division 2 beta, how you like it, man. So Brian, why don't you tell everybody a little about yourself, a little background. As you can see right below your video feed, it says @BarryBangers. That's where you can find you on Twitter and Instagram. Why don't you tell everybody a little bit about your entertainment background and just a little bit about yourself.
Well, I started DJing in probably 2003, 2004. I had vinyl turntables, and I just kind of messed around in my basement, played music for my brother. He's lurking around in the background somewhere. But he always told me I wasn't very good or whatever, but it was okay because I used that, and it inspired me to be good. And I went from using turntables to using CDJs and doing birthday parties and Sweet 16s and proms for small schools around our county. I grew up in Walker County, so the demand for DJs was not very high. So I had to reach out to other markets. And once I got to college at the University of North Alabama, I met I got linked up with some people that kind of showed me the ropes and kind of laid the foundation for what made me be what I am today. Because there's more than one way to skin a cat, if you will. So there's more than one way to go about how you do what you do in the entertainment in the entertainment business. And
absolutely.
Just playing music all together. I was in bands and stuff growing up. Wasn't a whole lot of, wasn't a very lucrative scene playing cover bands and playing the bar scene. And wasn't what I wanted to do. So I kind of just asked everybody. I mean, I'm still good friends with them. We still play gigs like once a year, but just went my own route DJing, and I came up, doing fraternity parties, playing in basements, making $75 a night. Maybe get a drink or two for free, and
just so everybody knows, like, you don't do this on the side. Like, you DJ full time. That's your source of income.
3-4 nights a week.
So where do you DJ? Have you said you're in Birmingham now?
Yeah, I stay pretty much in Tuscaloosa and Birmingham. Thursday nights, I play every Thursday night at Innisfree Irish Pub in Tuscaloosa. It's a great little spot, kind of. Not really. It's like kind of in the heart, I guess you could say, of the bar scene in Tuscaloosa, and it's always filled with college kids. Everybody looking out to come out and have fun. They run like $5 drink specials and hook everybody up for a good price, and everybody has a good time. And then Wednesday nights, I'm kind of on and off. I do every other week at this place called Galette's, and I do some weekend gigs there too. But it's just it's got a club feel to it. They've got LED screens wrapped around the walls. they show my logo and put cool stuff behind it, so it makes me feel like I'm somebody. But
Right.
yeah, when I left Florence, I came down and I tried out at Tin Roof one weekend, and then they were like, "Hey, we want you to come back and do this." I came back into that. They gave me St. Patrick's Day there last year, and after that weekend, I've been full time every weekend since then. So
That's
I've been
awesome,
there
man.
about a year. Yeah, man.
So anybody out there that's watching this that is interested in being a DJ, performing professionally, you can come to our website and hit Brian up for coaching on how to be a professional DJ and do it full time. You just go to www.kindofcoaches.com and there's like 8,000 ways to fill out a form to get in touch with him. So go do that if you're interested in that kind of career.
You guys give me a shout, and I'll do what I can to put you in touch with somebody that can help you out. Or I'll give it a try myself. It's up to you.
Cool.
But yeah, man,
That's awesome.
That's what it is. I feel like Bass Nectar, except I'm a little bit overweight. And,
yes. So you guys probably haven't heard him before. Well, some of you probably have, but if you haven't heard him before, Brian can turn a room from going dead quiet into just live, so all he has to do is play Return of the Mac and then is over. So we are fortunate to have him around as an entertainment coach, and he's an excellent social media guy too. So
I like that you dropped Return of the Mac, because if you check out my blog that comes out next week, you can see that I kind of pay homage to the undisputed greatest song of all time, Return of the Mac by Mark Morrison. Check it out. It's on iTunes. We'll send you a link.
We will. Blake.
All right, cool, man. So I got a couple of notes here, a couple of questions I wanted to get into.
Oh, I like that.
So a little about me. I think we mentioned it on the last podcast, but I used to play in some bands when I was in college. I was in a couple of different ones. One was called One Way Street, which is it's like funk and soul kind of stuff. And we started.
Wait. Before you get, I want to just let everybody know that this stream or this episode of the podcast is centered around entertainment. So that's why we asked Brian to be here. I said
that at the beginning.
Oh, did we? Okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And if you
I don't know.
if
I
you
hope
look
I did.
very carefully on this side, my dog is asleep right here, and you will probably see him rolling around, by the way. Sorry, Blake.
I locked the cats out of the room so they can't get in here.
I think there's something on the couch asleep behind me too. I'm not sure what it is.
So I played in a couple of groups when I was in college. Played mostly the bar scene, a couple of weddings, a couple of stuff like that. The second group I was in, we did a lot more like jazz.
What were those bands called?
The first one was One Way Street, and the second one was called Doodlebot. We were on YouTube, but I don't know if there's video out there anymore or not. I don't know.
Can you tell real quick? Can you tell everybody the story of us hosting that Christmas party and the cops came?
Oh, okay. So
what's up, KT? Good to see you, buddy.
It wasn't Doodlebot Gang. That's right. It wasn't the first show. I think it might have been our second show we were gonna do. The first show Doodlebot ever did was just it was a house party in our own house in the basement, because we had this giant basement with we had a PA down there, and we hung a bunch of lights, and we had a stage and all that. So the first show was in the basement, and it went pretty good. So we were going to do another one at Christmas, and we learned super jazz funked out versions of Christmas songs to play at the show. And we were sound checking and just running through some stuff at 4 p.m. that day. And the cops showed up, and they said, "Hey, you guys sound really good, but it's really loud and you got to turn it down."
You guys
so all right, cool.
I remember it specifically, dude. You guys were playing a Latin version of Frosty the Snowman, and it was great. It sounded great. The cop showed up and knocked on the door. He's like, "You guys sound great." And we're like, "Thanks, man. You just here to check us out?" And he was like, "No, you guys got to turn it down, or we're gonna have to file some paperwork. We were like, oh, okay.
Yeah. So we turned it down, and we kind of kept going, because we were just basically running through our set, just making sure we were good on everything. Because a lot of these songs we just learned for the show, and they showed up a second time, which they didn't write us a citation or anything like that. We got away with it.
Yeah.
But they said, like, you guys can't do this. Sorry, your neighbors are calling, just pretty much nonstop.
They were like, if we have to come back,
yeah, it's gonna be a problem.
Somebody go to jail.
We ended up, at the time, a couple of us were really good friends with the owners of one of the bars in Florence. This was before my time at On the Rocks, so it wasn't them, but it was a different bar. It's not there anymore. It was called Smokehouse. But so we called up the owner of Smokehouse, and we said, hey, man, like, we've been trying to do this house party, but the cops keep showing up. Like, is there any way that you need someone to play at Smokehouse tonight? And he said, yeah, sure. If you come, we'll charge at the door, and we'll give you whatever we make at the door. So we just, like, I don't even know what all social media we had at the time. I know we had Facebook, because this would have been like 2010, 11 maybe. So we just kind of put it out on Facebook and the network of college students that are trying to party, and we threw. Actually, it was probably, which is going to bring me to one of my questions here. That's probably my favorite gig I ever played, because we like really launched into it was really good. It was spur of the moment, like it just happened, and we played. I think it was like our version of like "Oh Come All Ye Faithful" or something, which I can't even promise you that I know the words to that song anymore. But like we launched into that, and like the place went nuts. It was awesome. It was probably one of the coolest gigs I ever did. Other than we did a frat party where everybody was just so wasted that everything we did was incredible. But that's a whole other thing. So that brings me, my first question for you, Brian, is do you have a favorite gig, like one night that you're like, this is what I want all my gigs to be like? Is there any of those out there?
So I mean, pretty much every Saturday night is how I kind of want every gig that I play to be like. But my favorite place to play personally right now, the place that I enjoy the most, because it's a change of scene for me, is Galette's in Tuscaloosa. Just like I said, with it being the club scene, the way it's set up, and everybody's just really so into it, man. Because when you take people and you cram them into a room and you feed them the right atmosphere and the right energy with the music, it just kind of turns the place bananas. And that's what I like to do. They used to call me Bear Bananas back in college.
We've never called you Bear Bananas.
You did go through. I don't know if we can say them all on stream, but you went through many nicknames.
Man, when Brian first started DJing like full time, man, he went through so many DJ names. Right now it's Barry Bangers, which is great. You should stick with that one.
It's kind of what it's been since like 2013 or 14, but
right.
We did Wonder Bear for a while. I remember Wonder Bear was good. I tried to do Vanilla Thunder at one point.
Weird with a beard.
Weird with the beard.
Yeah.
None of that hit. We can't.
The first one.
We can't.
We're not going to say the first one. That was a little inappropriate.
Dude.
I mean, that's probably the best one.
It was absolutely the best. Anybody listening that knows.
Yeah.
Knows. It just know that part. Okay. That part of me is dead and gone. He's gone.
Love Butter. So, that's right, Trey.
Yeah, there he is. But yeah, man, I'm very fortunate to be in the position I'm in, because I enjoy playing music, and I don't take a moment that I have playing music for granted, just because it's good to me, man. It's a good release, mentally and physically, because I'm real big. I mean, I'm just real big, and I get up there,
you sweat a lot,
and I jump around, dude. Yeah, it's like, it's fun. I do 4 hours of cardio, and I get paid to do it, and I get to drink a little bit of beer on the side. So I'm not mad at that. You can't. Yeah, dude. Just every day, man. One day at a time.
Cool, man.
Right on. So that's like the most fun you have doing this. Let's go in a darker direction now. It's not gonna be that bad. Is there okay? So I wrote down here like aggravating things that club owners or managers do, not necessarily on a regular basis. Maybe there was just one place you played in some remote area you're never going back to. Do you have any experience that's like, I didn't like that, and I hope that doesn't happen anymore? I mean, if you can't say, like,
you don't have to say like specifically.
Right.
Man, you know I'm not gonna bash anybody, but no, it's just it's different strokes for different folks, man. No two bars are run the same. Even the ones that are owned by the same people are run differently, and it is what it is. But the worst part about it is, man, you know, the market nowadays is so diluted with people that just go buy a MacBook and just, you know, they're spacebar DJs playing on Spotify and they're thinking they're out there doing something. It's like, man, these people come in here and charge $100, $150 a night, and you got to understand what stresses me out about some bar owners is I don't understand is you get what you pay for, and you know, if you want a higher quality of entertainment, it's going to cost you a little bit more money in order for you to provide the atmosphere and the entertainment that your people are paying to get in to see. And that's just been something really stressful, something that I dealt with in Jasper when I started, in Florence. But, you know, moving to Birmingham and playing in Tuscaloosa has been really good for me because people understand there's a higher demand for the services I have to offer, because I take pride in what I do, and every time that I get on stage, I try to work harder than I did the night before to be the best at what I do, because there's nothing more there's nothing more satisfying for me than when I get done playing music and knowing that the people that paid their money to come in and see me, they were entertained, and like that's better than getting paid, you know. Right. And that, you know, you don't find many people. A lot of people are just in it for the money. Yeah, the money's great. I love it. It helps me sustain as a human, but I feel like the gratification sometimes means more than getting paid.
And that's kind of the
true.
That's kind of the idea I take with the website. Like right now, we don't monetize off that website, and so if we could help like one person, like if one person could come up to me and tell me that they got a job because of the advice that I gave them, or that they quit drinking alcohol because of some of the advice that I gave him, like that alone would make every single bit of this worth it. And
absolutely. And
so we're not in it for the money. Certainly some money would be nice. We do love money, but yeah. So Brian, why don't you tell us what is the worst gig you've ever played? Hands down. Don't have to mention any specifics, but tell us a little story about the worst gig you've ever played.
I can't necessarily I wouldn't necessarily want to pinpoint one gig and be like, that's the worst gig I've ever played, because you always think, oh, it couldn't get worse, but it can. So I don't necessarily want to like make that an issue here, but man, my least favorite gigs are probably doing weddings, and they pay the best.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because, you know, people just, when they're getting married, you know, you deal with bridezillas. You know, luckily I haven't had a bad wedding, but you have those people that once they get at a wedding, they start saucing a little bit, and the drinks start flowing, and everybody's having a good time and unwinding, and they feel like they've paid me, and I'm there to be their personal jukebox, and I might not have something that they want on demand. And you would think that I told them that I was going to, you know, cancel their wedding or something. Like if I don't have a Katy Perry or a Bruno or something.
I could definitely see, because like we played a few weddings, and they were all pretty. I mean, they were all fun for us, which they were also friends of ours, like that hired us to play. But I could definitely see where being a DJ would be a little bit worse, because like you said, you know, like you're getting the all request line. Because you have a MacBook and some equipment in front of you, like that must mean you have every song ever. And you know, Sally's pick of the week over there is going to fit the vibe perfectly in her mind.
That's why you should just like cut the music and just go play that song on YouTube and just stare at that one person the whole time.
Play the song in full. Like,
yes.
I was always really, I mean, I've always been really judgmental on people that just come up and they're a Spotify DJ. But man, when you're doing those big weddings and there's a lot of people there and everybody's asking for a song, the last 2 weddings I've done, I haven't even plugged my turntables in. I've run straight off my computer, and I've been that guy. I've sold out because those people have paid me a generous amount of money in order for me to provide the entertainment for the biggest day of their entire life. Well,
I mean, that's
some of them.
that's a good point though. Just I mean, listen, you were paid to do a job, and that job didn't go exactly how you probably wanted it to, but you honored your commitment to do that job.
Do
So that's
you
cool.
do any contracts with them? Like people in your weddings, do you contract with them at all? Like any
Not
official documentation?
Not necessarily. Well, I do invoices. I invoice people strictly for tax purposes,
Mm-hmm.
but
That's good.
but no, I don't really do anything contractually. Fraternity and sorority parties there's contractual agreements in order for everybody to be on the same page, and
Yeah.
me not lose my gear because sister so and so got a little bit too lit on the bus ride over and she spilled her vodka crayon on my computer. Like, there's got to be certain things set in place. So where if there's a damage,
Yeah.
it's expensive stuff, man. So
no doubt.
know,
That's why you got to bring a heavy with you, man.
always, dude,
Always
always
bring a heavy with you.
shout out my guy Jeremy Curry. I wished I could
Miss
just
that
put him
guy.
in my pocket and take him. Yeah, I would take him to those. He's done quite a few sorority and fraternity gigs with me just because he's the enforcer. I bring the muscle, and
I've
For
done it a couple
anyone
times.
For anyone who doesn't know who Jeremy Curry is, he's about what, like 6'5", 6'6"?
He's 6'7". I would say 6'7", probably about 315.
He's a big man.
Big
Big
fella.
man.
Yeah, I miss him. Love him. Miss him.
Getting
Straight
married
up off
soon.
the farm too.
Her mama was 6 foot tall and could fry chicken.
Yeah, that woman can make some salmon patties too. Let me tell you. So anyway, Brian, back to entertainment and the entertainment business.
I'm sorry.
and Blake,
I thought I heard you mention some of the gigs that you had done with me. Do you want to talk about those, or you just want to sweep those back under the rug?
No, let's just go ahead and just put those way back on the road where they belong. This is a family stream, and I'm about 95% sure my mom's listening. So, anyway, Brian. So, and Blake, I don't. If you have any more questions, just jump in. But if you could give one piece of advice to somebody that is starting out streaming or not streaming, starting out DJing or getting into the entertainment business. And I'm sorry I'm putting you on the spot like this. I did not tell you I was going to ask you this, but
We did not screen these questions.
yes.
I didn't sign off on this, so I'm
looking back on all of the triumphs and all of the failures that you've had. Tell us like one piece of advice that you have for somebody that's just starting out in the entertainment game.
well, it wasn't like an overnight thing. Like, I played music in my basement to my brother and my mom and dad listening and telling me not to play that filthy stuff. Like it was a come up, and people just shouldn't be discouraged when you're not just automatically getting booking gigs left and right, because I was pursuing music full time is what I thought, and I don't know, probably 12 gigs in a month and a half, 2 months span, and now it's just like I play every Thursday, Friday, Saturday. It's a long road. It's a struggle. It's a grind. It's being there. It's providing a service that people know that they're going to get continuously. When you pay that cover charge to get in to see so and so play, they're going to provide this, this, and this. It's a guarantee.
Yeah.
And so
you're gonna play to a few empty rooms too.
Yeah, I did a lot of that, man. And you know what? You look at that as an opportunity where you're getting paid to practice, and don't ever be discouraged, because if you're getting paid to be somewhere, obviously people will respect you enough to give you a shot. And so always roll with the punches, if you will. And just don't get discouraged playing to an empty room. But that's what comes with the territory.
Hey, KT, real quick, can you go hit that follow button, buddy? I see you in the chat. If anybody in the chat right now wouldn't mind to go hit that follow button, that would be fantastic.
You worked for a really long time on this follower notification,
and I'm just dying for it to go off. So anyway, Brian, I've got a little piece of advice for people starting off in the entertainment business, and correct me if I'm wrong, but value your time, and that's anybody that is starting to do like freelance work or like entrepreneurship. It is to value your time. Do not, and this is something that will make a lot of enemies in a lot of fields. Do not undercut the market value. Okay, and what that means is if there's an experienced DJ or an experienced web designer, or anything like that, do not go in and undercut that person just because you don't need the money, or you value your time and charge a reasonable rate, and let your work speak for yourself. Don't go in and charge $5 to play for a full night. Like, that's not cool. It really hurts a lot of opportunities out there, and there's no potential for look at it, Scud FX, my man, now following. That's what I'm talking about. That follower alert is really nice, by the way.
Nice.
Thank you, Scud FX.
Hey, to add to that point that you're making there, like when you undercut and charge such a cheap amount like that, you're actually harming yourself.
Yes,
in the future.
I was just about to say that there is no opportunity for just growth. Thank you, Kevin. Appreciate that so much, buddy.
To make it about myself, like I am to do every now and then. So like I really want to make some furniture for people. Like that's something I really want to do. I've made a lot for myself and me and my wife in our house. But I'd love to just like make a commission piece for somebody. That'd be just a lot of fun, Now, granted, when I first start, and I am starting, just now, there'll be a few pieces where I say like, okay, you cover the materials for me, and maybe just a little bit, whatever you want to give me, that's fine. But if someone I didn't know came up to me and said, how much would you charge me to build this? And I give them like a really low ball out just because I really want their business, like, sure, I'll get to make them that piece of furniture, and they'll cover the cost of the materials. But now I've just essentially done a bunch of work for free. Mm-hmm. And what they're going to do is they're going to go to their friends and say like, hey, this guy made me this table and he only charged me for the materials. It was super cheap. You should go check him out. And now the next person that comes to me is going to expect me to do it for them for pretty much free. Mm-hmm. And when it comes to like doing stuff for your friends, I don't mind. So like if somebody, if like one of these guys or one of my friends came up to me and needed something, then I would just charge them for the materials, and I wouldn't try to make a bunch of money off of them. But
that's a little different.
When it comes to dealing with your clientele and your potential clientele and the people that you want to do business with and sell to, you've got to go in with reasonable numbers and charge what it's worth.
And make sure you have like something set. Like here's what I experience a lot in my industry. You have a service, like I do web design and stuff like that. So a lot of web designers, they'll go into clients and they'll say, well, what's your budget? And then the client will tell them what their budget is, and then they'll just do it for that. Like, that is not a good way to set a business up, and that can go for any kind of entertainment. Like, you have to think of it as a restaurant doesn't ask you what your budget is when you go in to eat there. You should have a menu of your services, and you should offer it. I have a pretty flat rate for what I do web designs for, and I don't ask people what their budget is. If it turns out that they can't afford my services, then now I might try to work with them a little bit, but as far as just not as far as not just taking their budget and just doing it for that, like, I think that's a kind of a predatory practice. But anyway, sorry.
Well, then it's like I've seen this happen before with like all right, if you go in and someone asks you what your budget is, like, not only are they going to tailor their work to how much money they think they're going to get from you, they're going to charge you the absolute most they think they can get away with.
Exactly.
And probably their work is not going to even meet that number, right? So if you have a low budget, you're going to get what you pay for. But if you tell them you have a really high budget, chances are they're going to try to make a quick amount of profit off you. I mean, it's going to be good. It's going to be quality because they don't want to get slammed. But
hey, Monster,
they're going to charge
up, buddy?
you.
It's really good.
They're going to charge you way more than you need to be paying for that.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you just told them that you could.
And on the opposite side of that coin, if you're looking to hire somebody and the first thing they do is say, well, what's your budget, man? You probably need to hire somebody else because they're trying to get the maximum amount of money off of you as possible. Now, I do websites for my friends all the time. I'm currently doing a website pro bono for Blake right now just because he's been my best friend for like 90 years. Eventually I'm going to get to doing a website for Brian.
Barry Bando.
Now that is different than your clientele. Your friends are different than your clientele. And this is getting way off of entertainment, so I'm gonna wrap this up. But
put the wheels back on, bro.
Yeah, let me get the wheels back on this. Know your worth and charge for that. Don't try to overcharge people just because you know their budget. Like, know your worth, act like you have a menu, and then go and charge what you think you're worth. And if you're not worth it, then people won't hire you.
I'm gonna bring it back to entertainment by saying, if you're a performer or a musician or whatever you are, don't take the gig that's paying you in exposure.
Yes, absolutely,
don't take
man.
that gig.
Exposure is not going to pay your light bill.
Absolutely,
no.
Dude.
Sorry. Exposure is what, like Facebook and YouTube and all those free marketing tools that we all have access to now. That's exposure.
You can pay Facebook a very small amount of money and get a ton of exposure. So even if you have a good product, you can pay Facebook $5 a week and
in fact,
get in front of thousands of people.
A great way to get exposure is a piece of video content that we are going to put out very soon.
Yeah.
About how to take your page or your whatever it is that you're trying to do on Facebook and invite every single one of your friends to like it.
So if you guys want to get in on this, previously without seeing the video content, if you go into your Facebook, you can go to our page and then you can share it to your entire friends group. And if you did, then I will send you a virtual kiss on the forehead. Brian, what are you doing? Anyway, so all right, back to entertainment. Sorry, we went to social sharing, and we're trying to get the wheels back on this thing.
It's all right. We're taking a much more organic approach to episode 4.
Yeah, for sure.
Which, I mean, I kind of like it. I don't know. We have the most viewers we've ever had, and the most involvement in the Twitch chat, and I mean, I think it's going pretty well. We've offered some real life advice on this episode.
Our buddy Alan, he says that gigs for exposure are for Melvins. Alan, if I knew what that reference was meant, then I would agree with you. But
it's probably original. Like, that could be the next big phrase, and he just came up with it right there.
Yeah, and
Melvins.
Mudsons. Brian, your
mic is muted.
Your mic is muted, buddy.
It's still muted.
Still muted.
Oh, wait. Oh, there it is. Wait.
All right, so Brian's mic is currently on the frizz. Brian, when your mic comes back on, I will give you one of these. For right now, it is currently off. So, Blake, where are we headed to now?
Well, that pretty much wrapped up. I had a couple other questions, but kind of in the conversation, we answered a few of them. We were going to talk about, like, what do you want to bring to people as a performer and as an entertainer, and we hit all over that. Talking about the vibe and the atmosphere and the reaction out of the crowd that you want to get, and what you're really bringing to people. The only other thing I was thinking, like, just a little around the table. Quick response of, like, if you're going out at night, which I know Taylor, you probably don't go. I don't go out much either. But if I was going to go out, like, what are you looking for? If you want to be entertained and you want to get out of your house, where do you go? What do you do?
Are you talking to me? Are you
I don't
talking
know, whoever
to Brian?
wants to go first, man.
Dude, my mic's back on, so we're back.
All right,
It
yeah,
is.
good.
I gave
Go ahead.
I gave you one of these.
Was what?
Well, I said I'll give you one of these, and I did.
Oh, hey, I'm back.
Well, you said what's my favorite? What's my favorite? Well, Brian, you go ahead. You haven't been able to.
Looking for so.
You haven't been able to talk for like 10 or 15 minutes.
All right, if you're going out on the town, man, what are you looking for in your entertainment?
Well, man, it's tough. Because I'm so accustomed to being the entertainment to where I've kind of spoiled myself. That's really pretentious. But
that is the most pretentious thing I've ever heard.
But it's just like I don't enjoy going out anymore because
you don't enjoy listening to DJs.
I don't. It's not that I don't enjoy that, but like I don't enjoy going in here and people howling and doing karaoke and all this.
For sure, not. I've never enjoyed that.
I enjoy a nice cold glass of whiskey in a dark game, and that's about it. As I age, get a little bit older.
Absolutely. Even when I recently stopped drinking, but even when I was drinking, I always preferred like quiet bars. And I know as a DJ, that's probably something you don't want to hear, but I mean, there's a time and a place, man. I love a quiet bar with some chill music in the background, and I used to love getting turned up too. So,
just for clarification, Alan just texted me and he said a Melvin is a frontal wedgie.
Oh, there we go, man. Alan, you should put that in the Twitch chat, man.
References.
That's a really funny term for a frontal wedgie. I'll tell you that.
Oh yeah.
I can kind of. I mean, the M kind of looks like if you were gonna pull someone's underwear up in the front, maybe it would make an M. Would it? I don't know. That's nothing. All right, I'm gonna answer my own question now of what I would look for. I just saw like the delayed video playback of us both holding our hands up like we're pulling our underwear up.
Yeah, dude.
I liked it. It's a good time.
Can we do it and let me take a screenshot?
There we go.
How do I do it? I can't take a screenshot. I can't take a screenshot. Hold on. Control. How do you do a screenshot on Windows?
I think it's Command A.
Print screen, man. Print screen. This is the wheels have fallen off again. We gotta get these back on.
No, we haven't, man. Go ahead.
Shut up, Dale.
Go ahead, Blake.
All right. Yeah, I don't really go out much either, but mostly that's because I'm old and married, and quite frankly, it's just a lot more fun to stay at home and just hang out. But if I was gonna go out, I mean,
Trey.
So the two things. I like it. I mean, I guess we're all kind of in the same place there. Like I like two different kind of like bar hangout settings. I like either one if it's a bunch of us together and we're hanging out and we get to actually like talk and talk about the good old days and do all that reminiscing and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Or I like super redneck old country bars because that's just like a weakness of mine somehow is if you're playing Hank Williams, man, I'm there. So shout out to Roberts in Nashville. I should have wore the hat.
Oh man, that's where we closed the bachelor party down, huh?
That's where we sang Friends.
No, actually no. Roberts was the next to the last. The last place we went was it Kelly's, Miss Kelly's? That's the karaoke bar. That's where we closed it down.
Speaking of wheels falling off.
Let's not get into that right now.
Yeah.
Okay,
Taylor?
So
No.
So as far as entertainment goes with me, I mentioned that I quit drinking. So I do not leave my house really anymore at all now. That being said, being like I recognize myself as an alcoholic, so I don't drink anymore. That being said, I choose not to go view entertainment because I don't know how I will react yet, being in that kind of setting, being a new sober person. Anyway, all that to say, I used to love going to big concerts, like big live band concerts, like Lettuce and stuff like that. Or like any kind of music festival.
Widespread Panic.
I'm just going to go ahead and say that the best live show or live entertainment I've ever seen was John Mayer. And I'm just a huge John Mayer fan, so hate me if you want to, but he's incredible. And then other than that, I really, really enjoyed going to see Bryan DJ. Like, we used to have a blast going to his shows and just really cutting loose, man. So.
If you remember when it all got started.
And also, as Kevin has mentioned in the chat, we have seen Widespread Panic a few times and had a pretty good time. So
I can remember, like, my car having no gas, my bank account being in the negative, and like no idea what I was gonna do.
Yeah.
But I would go to your shows and have the best time.
Yeah, have
somehow just have the great time.
I always really, hey, you guys text me when you're pulling up. I got you. I'll put your name on the list.
It feels like that was most of our college, though. It was like we were always
Those are like the magic words
broke.
I loved hearing. I'll put your name on the list.
We were doing that rusty spot over in Sheffield, the $15 bottomless cups, and those nights were all.
Let's not bring that up.
Oh, DPs too. You could still smoke in there, and they had a really good grilled cheese.
So
I'm in it for the grilled cheeses, bro.
So yeah, live shows definitely was the best one, and then let's see what else was it. I really like to go see stand-up comedy. That's really cool to see live. And also, let me tell you something that I love going to see that guys are probably going to laugh at. I love going to see live theater shows. Like, I don't know if you guys have ever been to one, like a play, but that stuff is really cool. Like, me and my sister and my niece went to see, I'm not going to say this on a podcast, but we
get your culture up, son. Say it.
We went to see Mamma Mia on last Sunday, and it was pretty great, man. We had a great time.
Did you cry?
No, I didn't cry.
Well, you didn't get the full experience.
I didn't see Meryl Streep. All right, I didn't see Meryl Streep either. Kind of made me mad.
There's something to be said for the theater stuff. I've been to a few. My dad is really into that, so when I used to go visit him in Chicago, he would always take me to some stuff. I want to say there was one like local group that would put on plays, and man, these were the worst actors I've ever seen in my life. It was hilarious. Like, I appreciate what they're doing, and I don't disrespect it at all, but man, they were awful.
Man,
terrible.
Even if the actors are bad, you're gonna get entertainment out of it just because of it'd be more of a comedy thing, but
it wasn't supposed to be. I don't remember what play it was. It for sure was not a comedy, but to me, golden.
All right, Blake. What's
we wrapped up entertainment.
Brian, you
guys got anything else? Yeah, anything else you want to add? Anything else you want to say?
Brian, give us one more good little detail about what's your second rule for trying to be an entertainer, and then we're gonna wrap it up after this, guys.
Well, you can get a good look at a T-bone. No, man, it just.
You're right, Alan. I did cry a little bit.
It's just don't take it for granted. Like, I'm very fortunate, and I love being in the position that I'm in because there's nothing more that I like to do as a human than to provide other people with like satisfaction or like just entertainment and making other people happy. So like, come on, man. And so it's like, I take pride in my job, and like anytime that I get to like, if there's 10 people, if there's 500, I'm just going to make sure that every single person leaves entertained, and I don't want anybody to feel like they got skimped on their cover charge at the door because, hey, I'm a proud dude and I like to make people happy. And if I don't at the end of the night, I just feel like I've let everybody down. Oh, is your dog asleep?
Yeah, you see him. All right, Blake, are we doing? That's gonna wrap it up for entertainment. What do we got for segments this week, buddy?
So an utter lack of creativity has led me to turn back around to desktop product reviews. You want to do some desktop product reviews? All right,
Brian,
so Brian, this is where
no, we're not going to explain it to him. Brian,
okay,
you're going first. It sounds exactly like it is. Desktop product review. Go ahead.
We gotta like.
No, we don't.
Okay, so I own a MacBook and I don't have desktop. Product.
No. Wait.
Grab.
Is he getting it?
I've got this wireless mouse right here.
Go.
And I bought it for $13 at Walmart, and it's called Wireless Mouse. Boom.
TSORS. Soars? How do you pronounce that? What's up, man? Thanks for hanging out. And also Southern Cutie. Hey, how are you?
Wheels.
Anyway, Brian, back to your desktop product review.
Okay,
So it's a mouse and
it's a
what else?
mouse.
Let's
Well,
see the whole thing. Yeah,
it's not a mouse. It's a little bit smaller. We'll just call it a rat. And it come with this complimentary rat trackpad.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I got it in the tech department at Walmart, and it was $13. And I've had to put one AAA battery in when I bought it in like December, and we're in March now. So,
can we get a rating?
So, how do we do this? Is it out of 10 or 5 stars?
Whatever you want,
We're gonna
man.
go 10 whistles out of one whistle out of 10 whistles.
I'm gonna give it 8 2/10 whistles.
What's the one thing about it that you don't like?
There's nothing really about it that I don't like. It's just a little small. I've got larger hands, so if I had a little bit bigger mouse when I'm doing Photoshop and whatnot, it would be beneficial for me. But
kind of looks like you're like trying to move a mouse around with a key, like a key fob. It's like you got a key fob in your hand.
Basically, yeah.
Mouse. Yeah, I got you.
Like I should be checking in my Airbnb with this, but instead I'm trying to do Photoshops.
See, Blake, we don't have to explain desktop product reviews whatsoever. So.
Okay. All right.
Good job, man. That really worked out exactly how I wanted it to.
Yeah, 8 2/10 whistles.
8 2/10
Right on.
whistles.
I've got for my desktop product review, I've got this rock right here.
That's a good rock.
It's a great rock. I'll put it up on the video for anybody to see it. But for those of you that are not watching, just listening, it's a smooth rock. It's I guess you would call it a river rock.
What color would you say that rock is, Blake?
It's like a there's a specific gray color, maybe steel gray, gunmetal gray, graphite gray. I'm not sure. It's one gunmetal.
Yeah,
Okay, gunmetal gray. It's you can see how the water has flowed over it for a long time in a river. That's why it's called a river rock. It's very smooth. It's very round. I think it's a little too big to be a skipping rock.
Brian is dying back there.
Yeah, dude, I'm struggling.
What's up, Sarah? How are you doing? Thanks for joining us.
But it really is a great rock. This rock came all the way from what's the Great Lake in Chicago? Is it Lake Michigan?
It's Lake Tahoe.
No.
Did you physically take it out of that lake, or did you just pick that out of one of our rooms?
I was walking around next to somewhere in the general vicinity of a Great Lake in Chicago, Illinois, and I saw this rock. And I said, "Hey, man, that's a nice rock." I didn't know if I could bring it back on the airplane with me though, because it's pretty serious. You could do damage. I thought they might consider it a weapon.
Blake, come on now.
So I left it with my dad, and I said, "Dad, I need you to bring me this rock next time you come to Alabama. It's really important." And he held on to this rock for like 6 months, and then I saw him at Christmas, and he handed me the rock and said, "Here you go. Here's that rock you asked me to bring you." So there's a nice little story about me and my dad, and this rock that is I got it for a paperweight. It just kind of sits over here, and it doesn't really hold any of my papers down.
Casey is telling you, he's either suggesting or telling you that you got it
Lake
in
Superior.
So I guess you did get it in Lake Superior.
Probably.
Okay.
Lake Michigan is in Michigan. That does make sense. If Lake Michigan is in Michigan, that sounds right. Seems legit.
But
what Google tells me is that Chicago, on Lake Michigan in Illinois, is among the largest cities in the United States. Famed for its bold architecture, it has a skyline punctuated by skyscrapers such as the iconic John Hancock Center and the Willis Tower, formerly the Sears Tower.
So it is Lake Michigan.
That's what Google tells me.
All right. Well,
how many whistles?
Well, I guess I'll rate it as what it is. It's a rock. So in terms of rocks, it's got to be. This is my second perfect review in a row, boys. Get ready for it. 10 whistles out of 10 whistles. This rock is exactly as rock as a rock needs to be. It's
Blake,
a rock.
if you could you link in chat where we could go get one of those rocks?
Or just link a picture of Dwayne
There
Johnson.
you
It'll
go.
be fine.
I gave a thoroughly accurate description
He
of
put
where
the
to find
ground.
rocks.
That's so funny.
R.I.P. the Wills, dude.
Okay, is it my turn?
Whatever, man. No, we were doing desktop product reviews. I reviewed. That's not. I reviewed a product on my desk. Mission
That's
accomplished.
perfect.
Your turn, Taylor.
All right, for this week's desktop product review, I am going to review this half-empty bottle of melatonin. 10 milligram melatonin. I take about 15 of these every night to go to sleep. Couldn't do it without it. It is a non-narcotic sleep. Sleep health is what it says. Promotes relaxation and sleep, and it knocks me out like a rock, like that rock that you just reviewed. So this particular brand of melatonin, is Nature's Bounty. It is 100% organic. Don't hold me to that. I just made that up. If you want a detailed description about it, email me and I will send you the supplement facts. If you have trouble sleeping, melatonin is a fantastic way to get to sleep. And also, you can download an app called Breathe, and you can listen to this lady as she puts you to sleep every night, and it is actually really good. So
I just want to remind everyone that we are not doctors and in no way are supporting taking drugs to help you sleep.
And
Or
melatonin,
15 melatonin at one time. That's excessive.
melatonin. Here's the thing about melatonin: it is not a drug. It is a naturally occurring hormone in your body. You can also not overdose on it, as I've seen studies where people have taken thousands of milligrams of melatonin, and it honestly just makes them go to sleep. So I can post a link to that study in the show notes. As far as my whistle score for this one, I give it a 9 out of 10 whistles. I'll only take one whistle off because I do not like the color of this packaging, and I think their font can be a little better. Also, their logo looks like it was made about 40 years ago, so that's the only reason I would take off a whistle for it. Great product. You can find it at Kroger or basically anywhere you get groceries for like $7. So definitely only start out with one because that stuff knocks me out, dude.
Like a light.
Kevin,
Hey, like a light.
KT, I no longer do the CPAP, man. I lost all the weight and I don't have to use that thing anymore, man. So
Yeah, he sent it to me when he lost all the weight, and I use it now, and with his drill crust in it and everything.
I actually sold that thing for a bunch of money. Yeah, desktop product review, melatonin for this week, and that is all for desktop product review. Are we gonna do another segment, or?
No, that's it.
That's
You know,
it for segments?
I like the one segment, man. One and done. It's good. It's quality. Rock out of 10 out of 10. Way to go, Rock.
I think we should just nix segments and just do a desktop product review every week.
That sounds pretty cool.
Okay.
I like it. All right. So let's wrap this thing up. First of all, so my name is Blake. You can find me on Twitter at KOC_Blake. You can find me on Instagram at MB Langford256. I'm gonna hold this up to the camera. Wait, where is it? There it is. Here we go. Right there. Oh,
that
focus.
Is a white pin.
Focus.
There we go.
There you go. MB Langford256. It's like my first two initials and my last name. I'm changing my name on Instagram soon. So if you're listening to this like 2 weeks after we record it, this information is no longer valid. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Taylor, where can people find you?
Brian, you go next. Where can we find you, buddy?
Well,
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Barry Bangers, BarryBangerz. GERZ. Yeah, Barry Bangers with a Z.
If there's somebody out there that lives in Birmingham and wants to book you, how can they get in touch with you?
They can shoot me a message on Instagram or find me on Twitter. I have at Barry Bangers on Facebook as well. Barry Bangers, look at it with a Z, not an S, because I keep things fresh.
Mm-hmm. Do you have an email or something like that?
I'm not giving my email out like that.
Okay.
we'll get there. We'll get the website going, and then people can
You
find
can
you.
give out your kind of coach's email.
No, you can send me a message at brianbaker@kindofcoaches.com.
Yeah.
BRYAN, because
There
my
you go.
parents were creative.
All right, my name is Taylor Heath. I'm, as we've said, I founded this little shindig, and you can find me on Twitter at KOC_Taylor. You can find me on Instagram at KOC_Taylor. You can find me on Facebook, Taylor.Heath.
10 grand.
Taylor.Heath08, and you can find me. And if you want to keep up with Kind of Coaches, obviously you're in the right place. The Twitch is at Kind of Coaches. The Twitter is Kind of Coaches. The Instagram is Kind of Coaches. You can email us at info@kindofcoaches.com. You can find us online at www.kindofcoaches.com. We really did a good job with getting those usernames, boys. So we also are going to start video content this week. So go subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'll have to find you a link to that because YouTube only allows custom URLs for people that have 100 subscribers. So it's a very long... What's up, Derek? How you doing, buddy? It's a very long and complicated URL. So that's how you can find us. And I really hope you guys enjoyed this episode because we really had a blast doing it for you. Also,
Speak for yourself.
Also, if you guys have any suggestions, we'll be live. We're going to end the podcast, but we'll be live for another 10 minutes or so. You guys can do suggestions in the comments, or you can man, shut up, Brian. You guys can leave suggestions in the comments, or you can email us, again, at info@kindofcoaches.com. What's up, Derek? Thanks for that follow, buddy. We really appreciate it.
My man, 26 Karat in the house.
If
you want to learn how to be a good DJ, I can put you in touch with Derek because he is the sensei.
Yeah, so go follow us, like us, share us, subscribe to us anywhere you see us, man. Sign up for coaching, man. You can get one-on-one coaching with us. We might not know exactly what we're talking about, but you will find something out if you talk to us for more than 10 minutes. So.
All right, everybody. This has been Probably Professionals, a podcast presented by kindofcoaches.com. Go check out the website, check out all that stuff. Like I said, or like he said, we'll keep streaming for another couple minutes if you guys want to ask us a couple questions. But as far as the podcast goes, that's it. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.
We gotta go. It's time to roll across the nooper like a yellow and she's about to blow. I don't know if it's all for show, if it really